wasn't eating. I lost so much. I lost about 1.5 stone. I was just petrified that like the people that was in there, that I don't know, I was gonna get like abused or something. It wasn't allowed plugs in case someone drowned, I guess. Hi.
That was harder than it looked.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's going to be a bit of a different one to my last video, and it's actually a story time about when I lived in a hostel. It was actually over this summer just gone. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced like homelessness or having to live in like temporary accommodation, but yeah, it was probably one of the most hardest times of my life actually. It really tested me, but I came out the other end, so I'm here now in a house. And if it wasn't for going into the hostel, I actually don't think I'd have started my channel. Yeah, so I'll just get right into it. So it all started when I left home. I wasn't getting on with my mum at all, and it just wasn't working. She had problems. She still has problems now. It's so hard to try and get her help when she just doesn't want the help. So we ended up just falling out and I had to leave, and it was like a 5-second thing. It was so fast, so I didn't have time to pack, so I literally took my car and the clothes I was wearing, and that was it basically, and whatever was in my car, and I left. And that night I didn't actually have anywhere to go, so I slept in my car, and the next day I was just like, oh gosh, I just don't know what to do. Like what do you do when you've got nowhere to live? I think for a couple of days I was just living out my car, just surviving, you know. I know you're probably like, I don't know if you can just live out of your car, you know, that's impossible. You know, how did you eat and sleep? But I did it into like food and stuff. I was actually like making a fire and cooking my food on that. Then I ended up living in like a disused caravan for about a month, maybe longer than that actually. And I literally had no electricity. It was just my car to get around, and the caravan was where I'd sleep in the night time. Yeah, that was probably one of the hardest times, especially in the rain, because it leaked terribly. I had my dog as well. I left with my dog. Yeah, every night we'd sleep in there. Through the daytime I'd, you know, go and get food and water, and I was actually thinking maybe I should do a separate video of just how I survived with no electricity or power or water or heating, and yeah, that should be fun actually. I'll do that if you want it. I suppose my survival skills just kicked in, and I just make do, you know. I can't say that I hated it. I can't sit back now and be like, oh gosh, that was so hard, I regret it, and you know, I never want that to happen. Obviously I don't want that to happen again, but like I can't say that, oh that was so bad, and yeah, I hated it, because like I learned so much from that. Like I learned how to cook food on a fire, you know. I learned how to wash my clothes, how to wash myself. Obviously I know how to wash myself, but like how to wash my, like get ready and washed with like just a bucket on water, and dry my hair, and all stuff like that. But I didn't really have any money, so when I was washing, I was actually sneaking into one of the gyms. So when people would go into the gym and swipe their card and unlock the door, I'd go, oh thank you for holding the door for me. And yeah, so I think about a month, 2 months, I was living in that with my dog, and through the day when I'd go out, I'd just leave her in the caravan, because I just couldn't bring her with me. Like, I'd be going to places like the shops, or like I'd have to go to the gym to get washed sometimes. And yeah, I'd just go in and I'd wash and I'd dry my hair with the hair dryers, and then I'd just come out. I'll probably do a separate video of all of when I was living in, you know, living outside or living in the caravan. But yeah, so about a month and a half, 2 months went by, and I just was really struggling at this point, and I just was, it was just getting cold, and I was finding it hard to look after my dog because I didn't have the proper things she needed, and I didn't have the proper things I needed. So then I reached out to the council, and I was like, I just have nowhere to live. I'm living in a caravan, a disused caravan in a field, and I just don't know what to do. So they was like, oh right, well you need to go to emergency homeless hostel. I was like, oh my gosh, no way. You know, it's full of like, well, I thought it was full of like, you know, like alcoholics and basically like tramps. That's what I thought it was, all tramps. And I was just so scared. And yeah, so I was like, no, I'd rather stay as I was. I'd rather stay where I am. And they was like, oh, you can't keep living in a caravan, it's just so unhealthy and you're gonna get ill, you just can't keep doing it. So I totally ignored them and I just stuck it out. Eventually, when the rain started coming at the end of the summer, I was like, oh, this is awful. I couldn't sleep, I was getting wet, I was cold, and I just gave in. I just said, okay, I'll come in the hostel. When I went there, oh, I was just so upset because I had to leave my dog in the caravan. Obviously I'd check on her every day, but it was just the thought of that I was gone and I wasn't there with her every night. So when they took me into the hostel, oh, I was so scared. I thought, oh, I just had such a bad view on the people that were going to be in there. But yeah, they let me come into a family hostel, although I wasn't like with my family, but they said, the state I was in, they said it'd probably best to take me into a family hostel. But I was 18, I still am 18, but yeah, I was 18 when I went in. They took me to the staff and they just showed me my room, and it was literally all that was in my room was a wooden bed and just like a desk to put my clothes in. And I just couldn't stop crying because I just thought it was like the end. I thought, oh, this is it now, this is what I'm going to live like for the rest of my life. Downstairs was like a social area, so the front room was for everyone that lived in all the rooms upstairs, just to watch telly in. And yeah, they had all the little toys in the corner, and just like all the sofas were different sofas, different patterns, and then we'd go into the kitchen and there was just one seating area with 2 chairs on it, and then you had like you know, just normal stuff like the kettles and oven and stuff, and your freezer. So we all had our own freezer slots that we could use, and whenever I'd put food in them, it would always be gone. So someone was always stealing my food. Not that I, you know, cared though, because they gave us the food. So yeah, I was grateful for that. Also downstairs was the computer room. So there was one computer with Wi-Fi because there was no Wi-Fi in the allowed in the whole of the hostel. So you had that one computer to use, and then you had, what else did you have downstairs? No, I think that was it downstairs. Oh, you had the washroom as well, with just 2 washing machines in and a sink, and then you had the smoking area outside and like the little garden bit for the kids. I never went out there though. But then when you went upstairs, you had all the bedrooms. I think there was about 20 bedrooms, and the washroom, and then like you had the men's ones, thankfully, and the women's ones, to have a wash in. And it was just like this tiny, it was like a gym shower, and you just had 2 rooms and you just locked the door on them, and they were the 2 showers, and then you had to share all the mirrors and the sinks. But whenever I went in there and I could hear someone was in there, I just wouldn't go in there. I was like damn, there's someone in there. Damn it. But yeah, it was fine. Like, I think I was just so scared of everyone in there, I just didn't want to come out my room. So for the start of it, I just wouldn't come out my room. I wasn't eating. I lost so much. I lost about 1.5 stone while I was in there, just because I wouldn't come out my room. And I was just petrified that, like, the people that was in there, that, I don't know, I was going to get, like, abused or something. Yeah, people would always try and say hello to me, the people that was also in the hostel, but I was just so nervous. But yeah, I'd say hello back, but then I'd probably go back up to my room. I think probably the hardest part was just every day staring at the ceiling, having nothing to do was like, so hard. And I just wake up every day thinking, oh my gosh, like, it's not a dream, I'm actually here. I didn't tell anyone that I was in there, so anyone I spoke to, I was just like, yeah, you know, I'm all good. Because I just didn't want to get judged that, you know, oh, I'm living in a hostel, because, you know, everyone, you know what people are like these days. It's, oh, you just get judged for everything. But it wasn't my choice that I was there. I didn't choose to want to be there, but it was just, there was no other solution at this point. So every day I was like, oh, just struggling, and just my mental health was just getting worse and worse every day, because I just was losing the purpose. Like, I just felt like I had no purpose. Just every day was like to wake up, eat, and then go back to sleep. My room was, I remember it now, the ceilings were so high. They were like yeah, they were just so high, and all the windows were all like, most of them were still shut, but then one would be like open that much. And in the bathrooms, the mirrors were like screwed to the wall, so you couldn't take any of the mirrors off. It wasn't allowed plugs in case someone drowned, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so like the more I was in there, so like say like the second week in, I started to sort of come out my shell a little bit, and was talking to people and, you know, just helping them. And there was a lot of kids in there, so I'd always say hello to the kids. This one woman came up to me and she was like, oh, how are you? How are you coping with it? And I was like, oh, it's really hard. How are you coping? And she was like, oh, I've got 4 kids, so it's quite hard to put them all into one room. She was cooking dinner one night, and I went back up to my room, and I had a knock on my door, and it was her kids, and they said, oh, Mum's made you dinner downstairs. I was just like, what? Like, I just wasn't expecting it. I was like, oh, people in here don't do that. You know, they're here for one reason, and to get back out. Like, you fend for yourself around here. But yeah, so every night then she was cooking me dinner with her kids, and yeah, I was just starting to realise this isn't people that have just given up on life. It's just people that have just hit a bad spot like I had. Although the people were lovely in there, it was getting hard when new people would come in and people would leave, and the woman that would make me food and her children left and found their new home. And then I think that's when it hit me again, and I was like, right, you know, this isn't going to get any easier. You know, I need to do something about this and sorting myself out, because I don't want to be here forever. And so I hit a rough patch again, and I ended up having an asthma attack while I was in there and going to hospital. Yeah, that was a hard part, and I think that's the part that woke me up and made me think, right, I need to get out of here. It's not going to get any easier. Yeah, so then after that I just said to the staff, I need to think of something to do to, you know, to get out of here. So I ended up getting hold of a family that I hadn't spoke to for years and years, and I just said, is it alright if I stay at yours for a bit? And they were all up for that. We've never really got on, so I knew it wasn't going to be 100%. So they said it was fine to come. So I ended up going to theirs, taking my dog with me because she was still living in the caravan. I'd check on her every day and I'd always take her for a walk, but I could just tell it was getting unfair on her. You know, she didn't enjoy it there. I hated her being there. I couldn't take her into the hostel with me, but yeah, I knew it was time that we had to leave. So I went to my family's and just kept moving forward, and I ended up meeting my now boyfriend. We just got on so well from day one, and I never told him about the hostel or anything. I just kept it all a secret. Yeah, a bit of time went by, and I was just not getting on with my family. They were arguing a lot, and I hate arguing. It's one of my worst things. It just makes me scared, it makes me nervous. And I just thought, oh, I just really don't like this. And whenever I spoke to him and he heard it, he could tell I hated it. So he was like, just please come and live with me. He said you need a fresh start and you need to grow, and you know, you're not going to do that until you have your own space and, you know, be able to do what makes you happy. So I was like, oh, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. Like he said, there's no strings, like I'm not chained here. Or I'm not chained to his house, and yeah, I did it. I came here, and I think now it was probably one of the best things I ever did, because he is so supportive, and he was so supportive since day one. I still had never told him about me being in the hostel, but I think he knew something was up, because I'd always leave this gap in my life that I'd never mention. I think it was I think it was about 2 weeks ago that I finally have told him that about the hostel, and he just took it so well, and he's just been so supportive over it. I was just scared that he was gonna shy away and be like, oh gosh, a hostel. Like, you know, she's lived in a hostel, she's been homeless, you know, but I was just so wrong. I was so wrong. Before I started all of this, if you'd asked me, oh, what does a homeless person look like, I probably would have been like, I don't know, 40-year-old man, grey hair, scruffy, like lives on the street, lives in a tent, smells, I don't know. I like, all I want to say is just please don't judge people. Just don't judge them, because when I was in the hostel, the people that was there, I would never expected. Like, there was a woman that was a scientist that had ended up just hitting a bad part in her life, and ended up just having to go to the hostel with her children. So it's not just people that have given up on life or just don't want to work. And sometimes there is no other option, you know. You just have to, you take the support that's out there, and that is what these, like, the hostels are made for. It's for people that have nowhere else to go. It's a stepping stone at the end of the day. It's not forever. I just, like, I'm thriving now. I'm doing so much better than I was. So I'm helping homeless people nearly every day. I'm doing qualifications. I'm just living my best life. You know, I have food, I have warmth, I have a house over my, like a roof over my head, and I just think, oh, please, please don't ever think, oh, your life's over, because it could be just beginning, like mine was. You know, mine's life has just started. That's the way I look at it anyway. I think, maybe I had to, I had to go through that part in my life to be where I am now, because if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be talking to you all now. So yeah, just if you hit a rough patch in life, please don't think it's going to be like that forever. Just keep your head up and just keep moving forward, because if you don't keep moving forward, you are just going to stay where you are now, or you know, you are just going to stay there. So that's my story to this day. If any of you's ever, like, you know, I've gone through this or going through it now, just honestly, just keep your head up. It will get better, you know. I don't think I've ever seen one person in that hostel that has come out, or you know, life has got worse for them. There's always so many people out there that support you, you know. It's crazy the amount of support that's out there if you ask for it. I want to do another video on my life of living, you know, with no electricity or, you know, or heating, if you'd like that. And I even thought, right, how good would it be if I just did like a week challenge or a 24-hour challenge of me just living in my garden in a tent, and I'm not allowed to go into the, obviously I've got to go into my house to feed my dog like every day and whatever and walk her, but I thought maybe I should do, like, I'm not allowed to use the electricity in the house, I'm not allowed to use the water, I'm not allowed to shower in the house. Yeah, and I'll do everything to exactly as when I was living in the caravan, but I'll do it in a tent, and just show you how I wash my clothes, how I cook, how I charge my phone, just all of that stuff. I'll just put it all down. Yes, that would probably be really fun actually. I'd enjoy doing that. I hope you enjoyed it. So yeah, subscribe, as there'll be a lot more to come. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.